Okay, DC DC's speed advantage over Stipe Miocic and why it's so important and how it's so important. Okay, first off, let me say that I will break down UFC 252, the whole card, not the whole card, the main event of the card, the whole main card. I will break that down, and I will break down maybe one fight from the preliminary card. Yep, and that will be up by early to mid next week. Okay, now let's talk about Stipe Miocic and DC. And wait, I'm gonna break that fight down early to mid next week. I'm just gonna talk about the speed advantage and why it's so important. Okay, DC has a major speed advantage against Stipe Miocic. I remember watching the first fight of Stipe versus DC, and I remember watching the first few minutes before Stipe got knocked out. I was watching it and I'm like, uh-oh, this is not looking good for Stipe. And I seen everybody till this day, they think that Stipe won that striking match with DC in the first fight. Like, before it got to the clinch, before Stipe got knocked out, they said Stipe was winning the fight. Maybe Stipe was winning the fight because of that takedown, but overall, or the clinch control, but overall, I thought DC was winning the fight because of the striking. DC was tagging Stipe with ones and twos, and it was just very odd because I thought Stipe is gonna run through him. But I said it was 50-50, but I said Stipe was gonna run through him. But anyways, let me get back to the topic. DC has a major speed advantage against Stipe and his low sense of gravity. So if you look at Stipe, he's used to fighting JDS 6'4", Francis Ngannou 6'4", Stefan Struve freaking 7 foot, Alistair Overeem 6'4", you know, all these giants, all these tall giants, you know. It's a different build, it's a different structure. And if you ever boxed or sparred, or, you know, sparred or boxed, whatever, kickbox, whatever, if you ever fight a shorter fighter than you and he's faster, man, it's so hard to even tag him. It's really hard. Of course, you'd have your advantages, but the disadvantages of the speed and the footwork and the angle, it's crazy how quick. It's crazy how much disadvantage you could have against a shorter, faster opponent. You would think if someone is smaller than you, / shorter, because DC is not smaller than Stipe, but he is shorter. You know what I mean? In the context of DC is thicker and more muscular than Stipe, just because of his frame, and wider than Stipe. Look at his shoulders, man. DC's shoulders are huge, but he's a lot shorter. He's 5'10". It says 5'11", but he's 5'10". Him and Khabib sparred, they're the same height. Max Holloway's 5'11". DC looks an inch shorter, you know. DC is 5'10" at best. And yeah, it's pretty much all this video is about, is DC's speed advantage and how will it affect Stipe and why does it affect Stipe. Okay, so when Stipe is used to fight, first of all, Stipe is used to it. He's used to fighting slower, bigger opponents, okay? It's just the surprise element of DC's speed. That alone just is gonna mess up Stipe's whole game. And, you know, I feel like Stipe now has his rhythm, but I'm not gonna say anything else about that because I want to save that to the breakdown. But yeah, reason number two, not in order, by the way, these are all just regular reasonings. Reason number two, Stipe heading into these fights usually has the speed advantage himself. Now DC has it, you know, like that's off for Stipe, because Stipe is usually the one with the speed advantage, footwork advantage, defense advantage, you know. He's usually the nail, you know. Now, of course, he's the hammer, but when he's fighting, if you look at him, he's very counter. He likes to counter, you know. Of course, JDS, that fight, the second fight with JDS, he didn't counter, but his fight against Fabricio Werdum, countering. Francis Ngannou, countering. Alistair Overeem, countering. You know, he likes to counter a lot. Now, if you try to counter against someone who's faster than you, and they're just, and like, for example, DC, 1-2, gets out the way, then 3, 4, 5, you know? He hits him with a third, fourth, fifth punch, you know? And reason number 3, his power won't mean that much, you know? When it's speed against power, and you're that much faster, power doesn't mean anything. And Stipe does rely on his power at times. Or should I say, not majority, but he does rely on his power if his speed is not working, which it does like 90% of his fights it does, but he still relies on his power. And you can't rely on your power against someone that much quicker than you. So that's my 3 reasonings, and this is the video. Subscribe, remember to do that. If you don't dislike this video. If you like this video, like it, but make sure if you dislike, make sure to tell me what I need to grow on and what I need to do better. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And before you go and say about my put pictures up or put videos up of on my screen instead of back screen, which 100% I get it, yep, but right now I'm having some difficulties, and I only have like a type of phone that won't let me edit my videos, but soon I will use this laptop to edit my videos. And yeah, don't worry, edit videos will be coming. I don't know about soon, because every time I say soon, it ends up getting delayed and then delayed and delayed. It's crazy how much it's been getting delayed, but yeah, I'll be editing my videos and doing all that in the future, hopefully soon. Thanks so much, guys.